Jeopardy! Please welcome our contestant. Player one. And now, here is the host of Jeopardy, Alex Trevette.
Thanks, Johnny. Welcome to Jeopardy, everyone. Good luck to you in the Jeopardy round. For this game, the categories are as follows. Zoology. The A's. Novel's first lines. Sports Joes. Lennon. And unofficial state nicknames. Player one, you start. The giant Pacific This may have as many as 1,600 suckers on its arms. They help it to taste and touch. Let's hear it, player one. That's correct. Select again. A recess or nook for something like a bookcase. Okay, player one. Correct. Player one. Pick again. Tolstoy. Well, Prince, so Genoa and Lucca are now just family estates of the Bonapartes. It's player one. Correct.
Yeah! Woo!
You get to pick again, player one. In 1908, troubled by blisters, this outfielder played in his stocking feet. Here's what we wanted. Joe Jackson. You get to pick again, player one. After Lennon's death in 1924, this man began purging rivals and eventually took over the top spot. It's player one. Right. Player one, back to you. The rare white alligator has a condition called leucism, meaning it lacks this skin pigment. Here's what we were looking for. Melanin. Player one, you pick again, please. A type of this snake that sounds like a James Clavell novel is Australia's deadliest and most feared. We're talking about the taipan. Player one, you pick again, please. Let's go over to Kelly.
In seismic data, the maximum displacement of a seismic wave during one oscillation, here 23 millimeters, is referred to by this term.
Okay, player one. Hey, you're right. Player one, back to you for our next selection. Doggone it, a mud puppy isn't a little doggy, but a large one of these amphibians. Here's the correct response. A salamander. Player one, back to you for our next selection. From the Greek for slope, it's to adjust to a new set of conditions. Okay, player one. Nope. Sorry. Here's the correct response. To acclimate. Player one. Pick again. Charlotte Bronte. There was no possibility of taking a walk that day. Here's what we wanted. Jane Eyre. Player one. Choose again. While it doesn't breathe fire, the dragon named for this Indonesian island does kill its prey with its deadly saliva. The correct response is the Komodo. You get to pick again, player one. To suspend a legal proceeding. It's player one. That's right. Way to go. You again, player one. Golding. The boy with fair hair lowered himself down and began to pick his way toward the lagoon. The correct response is Lord of the Flies. You again, player one. After coaching the Redskins to 3 Super Bowl championships, he retired to focus on his NASCAR team. Here's the response we were looking for. Joe Gibbs. Player 1, choose again. A liquid under pressure released through a nozzle as a spray or foam. Yes, player 1?
Yeah!
Player 1, choose again. Fitzgerald. In my younger and more vulnerable years, my father gave me some advice that I've been turning over in my mind. Here's the correct response. The Great Gatsby. You get to pick again, player 1. In 1973, George Foreman grilled this smokin' guy, knocking him down 6 times in 2 rounds. Here's what we wanted. Joe Frazier. Player 1, you pick again, please. Answer? The Daily Double.
Woo!
You are currently in the lead. Player 1, please select your wager. Here is your Daily Double clue. Following the establishment of a dictatorship, Lenin changed his political party's name to this. Good for you. You get to pick again, player 1. The coal state and the birth state of the nation. Player 1? That's right. Way to go. Player 1, back to you. Orwell. Mr. Jones of the Manor Farm had locked the hen houses for the night. The correct response is Animal Farm. Please pick again, player 1. Richard Nixon's enemies list included Jane Fonda and this New York Jets quarterback. Here's the response we were looking for. Joe Namath. Player 1, back to you for our next selection. Lenin led this majority revolutionary faction to power in the October Revolution. Let's hear it, player 1.
Yeah!
That is correct. Player 1, you pick again, please. Let's go over to Sarah.
Though it's called the Star-Spangled Banner State, this is its flag.
Here's the correct response. Maryland. Select again. In a nice 2-year run, he married Marilyn in 1954 and was elected to the Baseball Hall of Fame in '55. Here's the correct response. Joe DiMaggio. Player 1, back to you. Lenin returned to Russia from Europe following the overthrow of the Tsar in this year. It's player 1.
Yeah!
Player 1, pick again. The birthplace of 8 presidents. Let's hear it, player 1.
Yeah!
Hey, you're right. You get to pick again, player 1. For his subversive activities, Lenin was banished to this region in 1897. Here's the correct response. Siberia. Player 1, pick again. The Switzerland of America and the highest state. We're talking about Colorado. And we'll wrap up the board with this clue. Seward's Icebox. We're talking about Alaska. The Double Jeopardy round will begin right after this. Let's see what happens in Double Jeopardy with these categories awaiting the players. Moon R's. General information. Oscar winners of yore. One World. Famous Canadians. And opera names. Let's get back into this now. You have control of the board. The title figure of this Puccini opera is Cho-Cho-san. Here's what we were looking for. Madame Butterfly. We return to you, player 1. In 1917 and 1918, Ontario's Billy Bishop claimed 72 aerial victories as an ace in this war? Yes, player one? That is correct. Please pick again, player one. This titled temptress of an 1875 opera works in a cigarette factory. Here's the correct response. Carmen. Player one, back to you. To completely reverse your direction while driving is to pull one of these. Okay, player one. Here's the correct response. A 180. You again, player one. Toronto-born journalist Morley Safer began co-hosting this TV news magazine way back in 1970. Here's the correct response. 60 minutes. We return to you, player one. Amneris, daughter of Pharaoh, has an Ethiopian slave girl. Her. Player one? Nope. We're talking about Aida. Player one, back to you. John Ford directed this verdant 1941 winner about a Welsh mining family. Here's the correct response. How green was my valley? Player one, choose again. A popular koan, or meditation subject of Zen Buddhism, asks the student to try to imagine this sound. Here's the correct response. One hand clapping. Player one, pick again. Here's Jimmy from our Clue Crew with the clue.
This mariner's 16th century explorations of the Gulf of St. Lawrence laid the basis for French claims to Canada.
Here's what we were looking for. Jacques Cartier. Please pick again, player one. Gilda, the daughter of this hunchback, falls in love with the licentious Duke of Mantua, with dire consequences. Here's what we wanted. Rigoletto. You get to pick again, player one. This general, first in his class at West Point, ran for president in 2004. It's player one. Here's what we wanted. Wesley Clark. We return to you, player one. Greer Garson survives a Luftwaffe attack and the annual flower show as the title misses in this film. Here's the correct response. Mrs. Miniver. Player one, back to you for our next selection. Numerical name for Scheherazada's tales. Here's the correct response. The 1001 Nights. You again, player one. Answer. The first of the two daily doubles. You are in the lead right now. Player one, give us a wager. Answer this. Co-discoverer of this pancreatic hormone, Ontario's Frederick Banting won a 1923 Nobel Prize. That's it. Player one, back to you. Answer. The other daily double. You are in first place. So, what's your wager? And the clue. Tannhäuser and Lohengrin are knights. This title character of another Wagner opera is a pure fool. Sorry, that's wrong. Here's the correct response. Parsifal. You again, player one. Mercury's period of this is about 59 Earth days. Let's hear it, player one. Right. You get to pick again, player one. This old soldier was a general at age 38. In 1930, at age 50, he was chief of staff of the U.S. Army. Player one? You got it. Select again. Jimmy Stewart as Buttons the Clown upstages Charlton Heston in this three-ring affair from 1952. We're talking about The Greatest Show on Earth. Select again. Title of playwright Moss Hart's autobiography. The correct response is Act 1. Player 1, back to you. This Nova Scotia man founded a famous line of ships in 1838. The correct response is Samuel Cunard. Player 1, back to you. Photos from Voyager 2 help spot this moon of Uranus that's named for the heroine of As You Like It. Player 1? That's right. Way to go. Player 1, back to you for our next selection. More than 540,000 men and women served under this general's command of the U.S. forces in the Persian Gulf War of 1991. Here's what we were looking for. Norman Schwarzkopf. Player 1, you pick again, please. Alcoholic Ray Milland is reminded that one's too many and 100's not enough in this film. Here's what we wanted. Lost Weekend. Please pick again, Player 1. Based in Chicago, this financial services provider merged with J.P. Morgan Chase in 2004. Here's the correct response. Bank One. Player 1, you pick again, please. Saturn's second largest moon. It's named for the mother of the gods. Let's hear it, Player 1.
Yeah!
That is correct. Player 1, you pick again, please. The only place this general wouldn't march was to the presidency. In 1884, he told the GOP, "I will not accept if nominated." Here's the correct response. William Tecumseh Sherman. We return to you, Player 1. Gregory Peck gets the scoop on anti-Semitism in this film adapted by Moss Hart. Here's the correct response. Gentleman's Agreement. You get to pick again, Player 1. They're the bright streaks of lunar ejecta flung from an impact crater. It's Player 1. No. Here's what we were looking for. Raise. Select again. This Army general headed American-led forces during the initial combat phase of the Iraq War as it began in 2003. Here's the correct response. Tommy Franks. Now let's take a look at that $2,000 clue, shall we? From the German for rivulet, these trenches on the moon's surface probably carried lava. It's Player 1. Here's the correct response. Rills. You are moving on to Final Jeopardy, which will continue after these messages. Here's the Final Jeopardy category. Famous names. You need to select your wager. The Final Jeopardy clue is as follows. In the 19th century, he created a new type of reference work, a dictionary named from the Greek for treasury. Did you come up with the correct response? And that will cost you. Here's the correct response. Peter Roget. This makes you our new champion, Player 1, so congratulations. Thanks for playing, everybody. See you next time.